The names and events in this story are completely fictitious and randomly generated for entertainment purposes. Any similarities are entirely coincidental. As you look to your right, you will notice a scene that catches the attention of many visitors. The tour guide says to the group, "What comes to mind when you think of this scene?" Dawn walks closer as the scene grabs her attention. In deep thought, she observes and analyzes the display. The display is a captivating one, indeed. One end depicts a woman in distress and despair. She appears to be running away from a group of people, all adorned with guns, knives, stones, torches. This makes up the other end of the display. 28 November 1621. Niabi Abram shrieks in panic as her mother and father burst into her room. Alvin and Savannah look at their young daughter in disgust as they witness her engaging in underage premarital sex acts with her new beau. Aside from it being part of their strict family tradition to be wed before sexual activities, Niabi is just 13 years old, while her beau, being further along in young adulthood, is 19 years old. Not to mention his unforgiving reputation of his demanding and passive-aggressive ways with the women of the town, especially the young crowd. This does not sit right with the traditional families of the town. He is merely the rebel of the town, and strict warning has been spread to steer clear of him and the likes of him. Of course, some of the young, naive women who are flattered by his charm will ignore the warnings and travel at their own risks. Niabi is one of few to join this crowd of thrill seekers. Niabi and Braxton Wales crossed paths shortly after his last relationship with his recent flame, Violet Grail, had ended. This should have warned Niabi to trudge lightly, as the relationship blew up in flames and was headline news for the Kaleidoscope Falls community. It was reported that Violet Grail vanished for a short while following a fight between her and Braxton. She was missing for months until she reappeared unexpectedly. Police started to give up searching for her, and her family decided to cut their losses and cope with never knowing what happened to their daughter. When she reappeared, it made headline news. Until this day, no one knows exactly what happened to her or what caused her to vanish. Violet shared a preconceived story when police questioned her, but they were, and still remain, unsatisfied with her story. Braxton was of no help, and he seemed to be hiding a rather deep secret of it all. Yet police were forced to let the case go after months of traveling in circles and being led to dead ends. Braxton Wales had been a mysterious character since he aged into adolescence. It's as if his life did a dramatic time shift from early childhood to adolescence. He went from being that adorable toddler chasing butterflies to displaying odd behavior, bringing home dead rodents, all in the same breath. Braxton's parents are clueless as to what has become of his personality and character progression. They'd washed their hands of trying to change him years ago, after a standoff between Braxton and his dad, when Braxton was just 10 years old and started to display more violent and sadistic tendencies. They tried everything they could at that point: spankings, punishments, therapists, priests. They'd even had him briefly arrested and held in jail, hoping it would scare him into changing his ways. Nothing worked. He only got worse. "What have I told you about this scoundrel?" Savannah spits at Niabi. "Have you broken the vessel?" Niabi trembles and looks at her parents, speechless and ashamed. The look of guilt told Savannah all she needed to know. "Whore!" she lashed out at her. "Grab her! Get the carriage ready!" "No!" Niabi cries out in her torment. "Please!" "Shut up! What have I told you about messing around with him? I told you he's bad news. You're not even pure anymore. You're rotten." "I'm sorry, Mama." "To hell with both of you," Alvin barks. "I disown you. And you," he looks at Braxton, "I hope you burn in hell." Braxton throws a sinister look at Alvin. His eyes glow through the dim-lit bedroom. Alvin and Savannah gasps in terror as they witness Braxton transform into something that is not completely human. "It cannot be. The legend is true. The beast is real." "Beast?" Savannah asks, confused. "What beast?" "Solor." "Who?" "Solor of Sodamia." Solor is a complex species, the tour guide says. There are so many speculations rather, on what he is, yet no one really knows for sure what it is. The legend is that Solor is a lord who reigns in Sodamia and is leader of the soul maggots. The soul maggots are tiny people who are trapped in Solor's body. His victims and prey become entrapped souls forever, unless, of course, Solor is defeated and the soul set free, which has never happened. According to legend, Lord Solor cannot be defeated. 28 November 1621. "I am so confused right now," Savannah says, shaking her head. "What the fuck is going on, Alvin? And what the fuck is that thing?" "No time to explain right now. We have to get out of here. Niabi, let's go," Alvin says to her. "No!" Niabi says defiantly as she stands behind the flesh-infested creature that was once Braxton. Savannah cringes at the hideous sight of the boils growing on the creature's body. She then realizes those are not boils at all. They are microscopic people, and they appear to be screaming out, reaching out for help. "My God!" Savannah shrieks at the horrifying sight. "Alvin, what the hell?" "Savannah, I said let's get out of here now!" Alvin and Savannah scrambles to flee the home. Alvin cries out in agony as he is suddenly grabbed and forced back. Savannah watches in horror as Alvin is slowly devoured by the protruding, imprisoned souls on the creature's grotesque body. "Savannah!" Alvin screams out. "Get the hell out of here! No! No!" Savannah cries out to him. "I won't leave you!" "Is devour him. She instantly flees the home. At the time, the tour guide says, Niabi's age alone and dating was taboo. As a young woman, you wouldn't start dating until around early 20s at the earliest. That was more lenient, with young men being able to date as early as mid to late teens. Likewise, it wasn't uncommon for young men to date older women, or for women of accepted age to date younger men or older men. In fact, it was preferred that women dated older men because it was believed that with age comes wisdom, and younger women would find their maturity and wisdom in the presence of older men. So women of age 20 and up were frequently seen with men 30 to 40 years of age. However, young Niabi at the time was just 13 years old, and to add fuel to the fire, she had chosen to lose her virginity at such a young age, so her parents were rightfully furious. Braxton, being 30 years old, was deemed horrendous, as he was well past his prime in age, mentality, and physical appearance. If it had been the other way around, there wouldn't have been much of a fuss. 28 November 1621. Savannah desperately runs into town in search of help. She pleads to the authorities to follow her to her home to help her husband. Unfortunately, when they've arrived at the home, it was too late. Alvin met his demise, and Niabi and Braxton had escaped. The police did a thorough investigation of the house, which led to foot tracks leading off into the woods. Niabi was found cowering in the woods alone. Braxton was nowhere in sight. Niabi freezes in horror at the horde of authorities and angry villagers, including her mom, taunting her with stones, guns, and knives. She desperately flees the horde. Now, the legend is that Solor returned to save Niabi from the angry horde of villagers and authorities. The tour guide says he devoured all of them, and he and Niabi fled and lived happily ever after. Other rumors are that Niabi simply vanished into thin air, never seen or heard from again. Other rumors are that Niabi was in fact a shapeshifter, and she was Braxton and Solor the whole time. But no one really knows what happened that fateful day. Artist Hamako van He, who was believed to be there at the present time, drew the original painting to capture that fateful event in history. Architect Janessa Magali, who was also believed to be present at the time, wanted to capture this painting in a full sculpture display and generously donated it to the Kaleidoscope History Museum.